Good morning, dear children. How are you doing? I hope you all are keeping well at home. Children, I welcoming you all to Standard 6 SST class. Kindly all of you open Chapter 5 Yearly States and page number 39. Okay, children, so let's start the chapter. Yearly States. In this chapter, we will learn about the Aryans were a rural people who followed a tribal structure. This simple tribal structure saw a gradual change from 600 BC to 400 BC as the Aryans spread into the Ganga basin, clearing land covered with thick forests for habitation. Subsequently, some large territorial states were set up all over the Ganga basin. These states, which had a definite territory and a government to look after law and order, came to be known as Janapadas. Gradually, these Janapadas evolved into larger political entities called Mahajanapadas. In this chapter, we will study about these yearly states. Okay, children? So, we'll see now. During the later Vedic period, the first states emerged in the Indian subcontinent of account of the discovery and use of iron on a wider scale. With the beginning of sophisticated iron tools and advanced techniques of tool making, people cleared the dense stretches of forest. As the Aryans moved from the western part of the Indian subcontinent to eastwards, more and more states came into existence. The term Janapada used for these states literally means the land where the Jana or people set its foot and settled down. The land was named after the ruling tribe in each area. Larger among these states were called Mahajanapadas or great states. Okay. Next we will see republics and monarchies. Two types of political system prevailed in the Mahajanapadas. They were either republics or monarchies. Most of the Mahajanapadas had a monarchical system. The king was very powerful and he ruled according to his wish. Kingship was hereditary. He had a large army and many sources of revenue. Magadha, Vatsa, Avanti and Koshala were the important monarchical Mahajanapadas in the period. A republican Mahajanapada was ruled by a group of people elected by the common people of that tribe. Children, turn the page. Page number 40. See, children, here is a chart. Major Mahajanapadas of later Vedic period. Okay, this is homework for you. You make this chart on a white paper or paste it in your copy. Mahajanapadas, location, capital and form of government, important river. Okay, children, you make this chart. This is homework for you. Next we'll see sources. Two Vedic texts, Brahmanas and Upanishads, refer to these yearly kingdoms. These were composed from 800 BC onwards. The Buddhist texts like Jataka, Sutta Pitaka and Vinaya Pitaka give information about the social life during the times of Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. You must have read the Jataka tales based on the previous births of Buddha. The tales are a part of Sutta Pitaka. Along with information on the kind of society, they also give us an idea about the geographical divisions that existed during the time of early kingdoms. See children, a picture depicting a Jataka tales. Numerous archaeological sources for this period include a kind of pottery known as the painted grey ware. Various remains have been excavated at the Purana Kila, Delhi, Hastinapur near Meerut, and Atranjikhera near Itha. The evidence from northern black polished ware NBPW, that is short form of northern black polished ware. Sides also include an early series of punch marked coins, which mark the beginning of the use of money in the subcontinent. See children, the rise of Magadha kingdom. Now we will see about this rise of Magadha kingdom. As it has been started earlier, Magadha was one of the 16 Mahajanapadas which ultimately emerged as the most powerful one. The Magadha kingdom lay roughly between the present Patna and Gaya districts of Bihar. Magadha became the most powerful due to many factors. Now we will see one by one factors. First of all, Magadha was located in the Ganga basin. The soil of the Ganga basin was very fertile and yielded large harvest. Land revenue was high and it provided a substantial income to the kingdom. This enabled the rulers to maintain a large army. Secondly, the dense forests towards the east provided Magadha timber for building carts, chariots and houses, and also provided elephants which were trained for use by the army. Thirdly, Magadha had large deposits of iron ore. Iron was used to make more effective tools and weapons. Fourthly, Magadha was located very strategically. The old capital of Rajagriha was surrounded by hills on all sides. The new capital, Pataliputra, was situated on the bank of the river Ganga. These were natural barriers against any attack on the kingdom. And also the river served as a means of transportation for armies and equipments. Fifthly, Magadha had a thriving trade relation with other regions, including the south. Profits from the trade helped Magadha to maintain a large army. And sixthly, and lastly also, Magadha was ruled by ambitious kings like Bimbisara, Ajatasattu and Mahapadmananda, who were also trying to extend the boundaries of their kingdom. Okay children, these all 6 points, factors you have to write down in the SST copy and learn. Okay. Next we will see Bimbisara, 542 to 493 BC, before Christ. BC means before Christ. The Buddhist chronicles of Sri Lanka, the Puranas and various Buddhist and Jain texts are also sources for the history of Magadha. Bimbisara was the first well-known ruler of Magadha. He came to the throne of Magadha at the age of 15. At the age of 15, Bimbisara came to the throne. And through conquests, matrimonial alliances and establishing diplomatic relations, he expanded the kingdom of Magadha. With the conquest of Anga, he had a river port called Champa, from where ships sailed down towards the Ganga delta and the South India. Conquest of Anga gave him control over trade. He established matrimonial alliances with the kingdoms of Koshala, Vaishali and Madra, that is now Punjab. Okay children, turn the page. See children, Bimbisara's capital Rajgriha. Next we will see Ajatasattu 493 to 461 BC. Ajatasattu was the son of Bimbisara. He succeeded his father and ruled for 32 years. It is believed that he killed his father Bimbisara and came to the throne of Magadha. So children, underline this sentence. Ajatasattu was the son of Bimbisara and he succeeded his father and ruled for 32 years. And it is believed that he killed his father Bimbisara and came to the throne Magadha. He was a very ambitious ruler. Ajatasattu defeated his neighbors, which included the king of Koshala and the Bhaji of northern Bihar. He occupied Kashi and annexed smaller states. During his reign, the Magadha Empire included the whole region between the plains of Ganga and the Himalayas. Statue of Ajatasattu. See children. Under the leadership of Ajatasattu, Magadha emerged as the most powerful kingdom of northern India. It is believed that Ajatasattu was a cruel king. He tried to suppress the rise of Buddhism and Jainism. Ajatasattu was succeeded by his son Udayin, the rulers who came after Ajatasattu were weak. They did not rule for a long time. In 413 BC, children, underline this. In 413 BC, Sisunaga became the ruler of Magadha. Sisunaga was the last ruler of his dynasty. Finally, the Nanda dynasty founded by Mahapadma Nanda came to power. So children, this is enough for today. You write down these important things and make the chart, and rest of this part we will discuss in my next video. Till then, thank you, bye bye.